Hi, I'm Will Nader, Group Brand Director of 72 and Sunny, coming to you live from Sports Beach at Cannes for the Sunnyside Series. I'm joined here with Tyler Bahl, CMO of Activision, and Matt Gihooley, VP of Marketing at Activision as well. This is a special year for us because for the first time since 2018, we have 2 Call of Duty campaigns shortlisted at Cannes. And I think we want to talk a little bit about that, the work, all the great things that went into pulling it off, but more importantly, partnerships. I think what's really interesting about the work this year is how we collaborate with other brands, other co-creators to make something awesome beyond just the people in this room. So I think for those watching or for those who will watch this video who maybe know Call of Duty or don't know exactly what Call of Duty is or maybe have a certain perception of Call of Duty, Tyler, I'd love for you to just give an overview of the brand and what Call of Duty stands for in the community.
Yeah, so Call of Duty's been the #1 game for the last 16 years in the US. And so we're really excited. It has this massive audience. We have our mainline game, which is the big game that comes out every year like Black Ops 6. We have our Warzone game, which is our free-to-play game. And then we have Call of Duty Mobile, which has over 1 billion downloads. And so that brand is not only just for gamers, right? It's become more of a lifestyle brand, and it's part of people's identity, right? Like they really associate themselves with Call of Duty. And the brand is really, yes, it's a military simulator, but in a lot of ways, it's all about having fun with your friends. And we really want to put culture first and that and combat second.
Yeah, I think, I've been working on the brand now for 10 years, and what people don't realize is just the amount of connections people can make over the brand. Little personal story, my brother and I reconnected during COVID over Call of Duty. I think really it's more of a social network than it is a first-person shooter many times. I think that brings me to, a major partnership and one of the best pieces of work here at Cannes that Matt, I think you spearheaded, which is the Call of Duty Squid Games partnership. Can you talk a little bit about what that idea was and how it came to life? That was a massive in-game integration. It takes a lot of people across the organization, both at Netflix and on the game development side, to pull that off.
Yeah, so my role was really working on the marketing angle for it, but I can speak more broadly. It's, our partnerships team sat down with Netflix and they really wanted to figure out how to authentically bring that experience to life within Call of Duty for the launch of Season 2. And I think what our players have told us over and over again is that they love to see the characters from other IPs come into our game, but what they love even more is the opportunity to really kind of play into those IPs. So for example, with this one, they brought Red Light, Green Light into our game. They brought many of the famous characters from the game into our game. And then we got to have a lot of fun with marketing. We got to use their experience in New York, bring our creators out there so they could really be immersed in Squid Game. They could play the game for the first time live there in the New York experience. So just holistically, it felt like 2 brands that really fit nicely together, bringing something really special to our community and also to fans of the show.
When you launched it, how was planning? How did you guys collaborate together as it related to coordinating across 2 massive marketing organizations and 2 very accomplished marketing organizations?
Yeah, so I think we really sat down with them and we said, hey, you guys have a ton of things going on with Squid Game. Obviously, they're going to launch a huge, promotional campaign for the launch of Season 2. It was just around kind of the Christmas corridor. We had just launched Black Ops 6. This was one of our big first integrations with Black Ops 6. So it was sort of like, what is the lane that we can carve out? They also had a mobile game that was going, so we wanted to make sure we had real clear distinction for what Call of Duty was. They worked with us to debut the trailer, which was a cinematic trailer, and really kind of set the tone for how authentic the partnership was going to be. And yeah, I would say, Netflix were really great partners for us. They really kind of bought in on how do we bring these 2 IPs together really nicely.
That's awesome. So turning gears to, I think the second piece of work that's nominated here at Cannes, The Replacer. The Replacer's been around historically on the brand, but it's never been done the way we did it last year. About 45 individual pieces of content, 21 media partnerships. I think we had 18 shoot days. We got a bunch more gray hair because of it. I think the best part about it was we did write a lot of funny films. We did shoot a lot of stuff, but we went and we collaborated and created with other major brands. Tyler, can you talk a little bit about some of those brands and kind of how that process was and what you're most proud of?
Yeah, we think about partnerships. We think about what you just referred to with Squid Game, right? With branded integrations that we have inside of the game. We think about collaborations that we do with like Monster and Polaris and working with Little Caesars. And then there's these media partnerships that we did for the campaign. And with The Replacer, normally we create a 60-second spot and we cut it down into short formats, right? Maybe we do some social on the side. But here we had, like you said, 40 original pieces of content, and those are all branded integrations, right? Working with Disney and ESPN, right, to have him on SportsCenter, being able to place him, on the cover of People magazine, right, which is, a first for Call of Duty, and then having like things like Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, and showing up in unexpected places. Because I think in a lot of ways we can cover off on working with influencers, and we can show up on YouTube, and there's a lot of different ad buys that we can run on TV. But having him as part of culture and integrated into people's lifestyles and all the different transmedia that's out there was really the opportunity.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite stories from that was actually, and probably one of my favorite pieces of content was the complex sneaker shopping. I think there was some hesitancy at first. Like, it's a very important IP. They've done it many times their way. And Joe Puma at the time, maybe I think was a little concerned creatively, rightfully so. But we talked to him, we collaborated with him, and he turned out having a blast. And we all were on that set, and we had a lot of fun too, and so many laughs. So I think it was a really cool example of like how we could co-create and collaborate with other awesome creative people in LA and beyond, and bring the campaign to life.
And I think each one we did unlocked a new door for the next one, right? Like we showed the previous partner, oh yeah, we did this with Complex. Oh, we did this with ESPN. Oh, we did this with Wheel of Fortune. And that kept on unlocking new doors and new partnerships for people for us to work with for the first time. And I think that's what made it special.
Yeah, I think the other part I really loved was People magazine. Can you talk a little bit, I know like in a can full of AI conversations and technology, talk a little bit about maybe our strategy last year as it relates to going a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, I like you said, we're here at Cannes. Everyone wants to talk about AI. Last year was about creators, right? And I think what we did differently was Zag, right? Like I think it was thinking about with the Truth Lies campaign, showing up on the cover of the New York Post or the USA Today, being on a physical paper and using it almost as a billboard, right, for people to see on the street, and then people taking pictures of and using that as shared content. And so those opportunities, like People magazine, right, it wasn't just about the audience reading People magazine and having that 2 million subscription distribution, but it was showing up at the airport, right, or being able to show up at newsstands in a unique way, and having people do a double take to go, is the Replacer really the sexiest man alive? I think was really fun and really exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. So kind of moving on in the same partnerships and collaboration lens, I think one of the things I've been most impressed about over the last couple of years, and it's been a big undertaking by Matt and your team with Tyler, is just how you've changed organic social and also used in-game IP or partnership in-game to stoke and engage the community. Can you talk a little bit about the overarching strategy around organic social? You've done a lot with creators and allowed them a lot of freedom to create some really cool Call of Duty stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, when I came in, I think we were really focused on the strategy of how do we sort of disseminate our brand message out to our community really directly. And what we've tried to do in the last few years through some of these, IP collabs, through co-creation partnerships like our Tastemaker program, is find a way for our brand to show up in other places where it's kind of the representation of their brand and Call of Duty together. So if it's a Tastemaker, which that's essentially a program where we work with artists to make something that's original to them, but it's sort of a representation of their fandom of Call of Duty, or it's a collab like the Netflix collab or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collab, or so many other collabs. We just did Ballerina with the John Wick and Lionsgate franchise. We're looking for that authentic way where the two IPs can come together. We get the fantastic co-promotion of the studio or the celebrity or whoever the partner is, and we're trying to sort of extend the culture of Call of Duty to that brand, and also lean into the culture that brand brings to Call of Duty to sort of push us in new directions. And I think that strategy for us on the social side is fantastic because we get the exposure, it drives a ton of conversation, but really holistically in culture, we want to be, aligning our two brands together, and that's a big push with all of these partnerships.
Yeah, I think the thing I've loved is like the unexpected ways and unexpected partnerships you guys have kind of brought to the game over the last couple of years, like working more on the other side of the marketing. I'll just kind of follow on Instagram and see, hey, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's just like, wow, that's fun. Like that kind of brings a whole nother light inside the Call of Duty. Many people wouldn't realize it's just another way to connect with friends. Yeah,
it's been a big year for retro brands, right? And we had a game that was set in the 90s, and so that kind of opened the door for us to do some of these more fun retro collabs, and they've fully leaned in with us, which allowed us to make some fantastic content.
Nice. And then the last thing I kind of want to touch on and talk about is a big priority for both of you this year. I know, Tyler, you've been spearheading it quite a bit, but finding ways to partner with and empower female gamers. Can you talk about a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we have this massive audience. If we think about, Call of Duty Warzone, you have 100 million players, 25% of them are women, and I think it's an underserved audience for us. And so this year, with International Women's Day and Women's Month, we launched a new trailer highlighting all the amazing women that have been in the Call of Duty franchise over the years. And we've followed that up by launching something called Level Up Labs, right? So we brought a number of women influencers into our headquarters at Activision, and also brought them to our studios to teach them how to up their level of play, being able to create content with our marketing team, learn how the game is actually developed, and then giving them an opportunity to create on their own with some new content. So that was a really big opportunity. And we just signed Kiernan Shipka as part of Black Ops 7, so she was featured prominently in our new teaser trailer. And so we're going to be doing a lot more in this space, and we're looking for partners to partner with us to kind of bring Call of Duty to new audiences, but also support those women that are currently playing.
That's awesome. And I think that I'll just kind of hit on that last note you said. I think all of us, 72 and Sunny, as well as Activision Call of Duty, are always looking for partners. I think we thrive in co-collaboration. We love marketing with other people, from female gamers to other brands. I think Call of Duty is a massive social network with a great audience and one hell of a marketing team. So I don't know. I've had a blast working with you guys the last couple of years. It's awesome to get some recognition this year on the beach and by the award show. Hope we can do some more of it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's really great. Great to be here at Sport Beach. Get to hang out with a bunch of celebrities and athletes who love the game. So good times. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you both.
Thanks.